Hambrienta y sin fuerzas, la joven apache entró en mi tienda, al amanecer ya era mía. The wind whispered through the tall grasses, carrying with it the scent of earth and wildflowers. A young Apache woman, only 16, trudged wearily across the open land. Her feet were bare, and every step left a faint imprint in the damp soil. She was hungry, tired, and alone. The village she had known all her life had been far behind her, and the dangers of the world ahead pressed heavily upon her small shoulders. Her name was Nayeli, which meant, "I am thankful" in her language, a name that reminded her of her mother's gentle spirit even in the hardest times. Nayeli had always been brave, but bravery was different when faced with real hardship. Her family had fallen victim to a sudden illness, and the few people she could have relied upon were gone. She had watched them fade away, one by one, unable to do anything but pray and hope. Now she had to rely entirely on herself. Her stomach ached, not only from hunger but from the worry that came with knowing she had to survive in a world that was vast, wild, and often cruel. She clutched a small bundle of belongings close to her chest, a few scraps of cloth, a knife her father had given her for protection, and a tiny, worn figurine carved from wood that her mother had made for her. It was the only comfort she had left, a reminder of home and of love. As she walked, Nayeli tried to remember the lessons her father had taught her. How to read the signs of the land, how to find water, how to notice the movements of animals. She thought about the stories of her ancestors, of Apache warriors and healers who had survived against impossible odds. Those stories were not just tales, they were guides, offering wisdom that she could apply to her own life. She slowed her pace, knowing she could not afford to rush. The plains could be as dangerous as they were beautiful. Coyotes prowled at night, storms could appear without warning, and humans sometimes brought trouble as well. Hours passed. Nayeli's legs ached, and her feet were blistered. She spotted a small grove of trees in the distance, their leaves trembling in the early morning breeze. She hoped that there might be a stream nearby, perhaps some shade, and maybe even a place to rest. As she approached, she saw signs that someone else had been there. A few footprints near the edge of the grove, faint marks in the dirt. Her heart pounded. She had to be cautious. People could be helpful, but strangers could also be dangerous. She crouched behind a bush, watching, waiting to see if anyone appeared. To her relief, the footprints seemed to belong to someone who had left long ago. She stepped cautiously into the grove, her eyes scanning every branch and leaf. There was a small stream, glistening with clear water. Nayeli knelt by the edge, cupping her hands and drinking carefully. The water revived her, though it did little for the emptiness in her stomach. She needed food, and she needed it soon. Her mind went back to the lessons her mother had taught her: roots, berries, and edible plants. She remembered the taste of wild onions, of berries that were sweet but tart, and of nuts she could crack open with her small knife. For the next few hours she searched. She found a patch of wild berries, some of which were safe to eat. She ate slowly, savoring each bite, making sure not to eat too quickly or too much at once. The taste brought back memories of happier times, of her mother gathering food and singing softly, of the laughter of her younger siblings. For a brief moment, the pain of loss softened, and a tiny spark of hope flickered in her chest. She could survive. She had to survive. But the challenges were far from over. As the sun rose higher, the grove became hotter and the shadows shrank. Nayeli had to move again, to find shelter before the midday heat became too oppressive. She packed her small bundle, wiped her hands clean, and set off once more. Her journey was slow, careful, and deliberate. Every step required attention, and every sound made her alert. She had learned that survival was not just about strength. It was about patience, observation, and intelligence. By midday, Nayeli found herself near a small cluster of hills. From a distance, she saw a thin plume of smoke rising into the sky. Her heart leapt. Smoke could mean people, and people could mean help or danger. She moved closer, hiding behind rocks and low shrubs, her eyes scanning the area. At the edge of a clearing, she saw a small dwelling, a simple structure made of wood and covered with a thatched roof. It seemed inhabited. Nayeli hesitated. She wanted to approach, to ask for food and water, but the fear of strangers made her pause. She remembered the stories her father had told her, how some people were kind and some were cruel, and how judging too quickly could be dangerous. After careful consideration, Nayeli decided to wait. She crouched in the shadows, observing. A figure appeared at the doorway, moving slowly. Nayeli could not see clearly, but she noted that the person seemed human, perhaps older, perhaps kind. Her stomach growled, reminding her of her hunger, but she resisted rushing forward. She took a deep breath and reminded herself that caution could save her life. Hours passed. Nayeli watched as the figure moved about, tending to small tasks. She saw the person bring water, gather wood, and adjust the dwelling's simple furnishings. Nayeli felt a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. She wanted to meet this person, to ask for help, yet she feared rejection or harm. As the afternoon light softened, she made a decision. Carefully, she stepped out of her hiding place, making her presence known but in a non-threatening way. "Hello," she called softly, her voice trembling. I am lost and I have no food or water. Can you help me?" The figure turned, eyes widening in surprise. There was a pause long enough for Nayeli to feel a rush of panic, but then the person smiled gently. "Come closer," the voice said. "You are safe here." Relief washed over Nayeli. She approached slowly, her knees weak but her determination stronger than ever. She could not explain the fullness of her emotions, relief, fear, gratitude, but she felt a connection, a glimmer of hope that she had not felt since leaving her village. The figure offered her water and a small portion of food. Nayeli drank deeply, savoring the warmth and comfort of human kindness. The food was simple, but it nourished her body and her spirit. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the sky with golden and crimson hues, Nayeli sat near the dwelling, feeling exhaustion take hold. She thought about the journey that had brought her here, about the struggles she had endured, and about the courage it had taken to keep moving forward. She understood that the path ahead would not be easy, but she also realized that moments of kindness and hope existed even in a harsh world. She was not entirely alone, and that made all the difference. The evening air grew cooler, carrying the scent of the earth and the distant sound of a river. Nayeli lay down on a bed of soft grass near the dwelling, wrapped in a blanket offered by her new acquaintance. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to rest, but her mind remained alert, aware that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new choices, and new opportunities for growth. She felt a quiet determination settling within her, a promise to herself that she would survive, that she would learn, and that she would one day honor the memories of her family through the strength and resilience she carried forward. The night fell and the stars emerged, twinkling like tiny lanterns over the vast plains. Nayeli felt a sense of peace she had not known in many weeks. Though her journey was only beginning, she understood that every step she took, every decision she made would shape her path. And as she drifted into a deep, dreamless sleep, she carried with her the knowledge that courage, hope, and kindness could guide her even through the darkest times. The first light of dawn stretched across the plains, painting everything in pale gold and soft pink. Nayeli awoke slowly, feeling the stiffness in her limbs, but also a small spark of energy she hadn't felt for days. The night had been quiet, the wind gentle, and for the first time in a long while she felt a sense of safety. She sat up, looking around the small dwelling where she had spent the night. The figure from yesterday, a kind elder named Amya, was already moving about, preparing the morning meal. Amya had short, gray-streaked hair and warm eyes that seemed to understand more than words could express. She had smiled at Nayeli last night, offering comfort and reassurance, and that smile had lingered in Nayeli's mind as she slept. "Good morning," Naeli said softly, her voice still hoarse from the journey and the lack of water and food. Amya nodded and smiled. "Good morning, child. You slept well, I hope. There is some food ready for you. Eat slowly, and we will talk after you've had something in your belly." Naeli moved closer and gratefully accepted the small portion of dried fruits, nuts, and bread that Amya handed her. Each bite was precious, and she ate slowly, savoring the flavors. As she ate, she observed her surroundings more carefully than she had the day before. The dwelling was simple but well cared for. Outside, a small garden thrived with herbs and vegetables, and a few chickens wandered freely near the edges of the clearing. A sense of peace settled over Naeli as she realized that people could indeed live in harmony with the land, caring for it, and receiving its gifts in return. After she had eaten, Naeli and Amya sat down on a large flat rock near the stream. The elder began to speak softly, her voice calm and patient. "You have come a long way, little one. Tell me, what has brought you here?" Naeli hesitated at first, unsure how much to reveal, but something in Amya's eyes encouraged her to speak. Slowly she recounted her journey, the loss of her family, the illness that had taken them, the long walk across the plains, and the moments of fear and exhaustion that had filled each day. She spoke of the lessons her parents had taught her, of the stories of courage and survival, and of her determination to continue living even when everything seemed lost. Amya listened quietly, nodding occasionally. When Naeli finished, the elder said, "You are very brave, Naeli. The journey you have taken is not easy for someone so young. You have endured much, and yet you still carry hope in your heart. That is a strength many do not possess." Naeli felt a warmth in her chest, a mix of pride and relief. For the first time, someone had acknowledged not only her suffering but also her determination. She realized that she was not alone anymore. There was someone willing to guide her, to teach her, and to help her regain her strength. Amya continued, "The world can be harsh, but it also holds beauty and wisdom. You must learn to read both. The plains will provide food and water if you know where to look. The animals will teach you patience and observation, and the people you meet may offer kindness or they may challenge you. You must be ready for both." Naeli nodded eagerly. She wanted to learn, to understand the world in a way that could protect her and guide her forward. "I want to learn," she said earnestly. "I want to survive, and I want to live well, not just exist." Amya smiled. "That is the first step. Learning is not just about knowledge, it is about patience, courage, and respect. Respect for the land, for the animals, and for the people around you. Each day you will face choices, and each choice will shape who you become." After their conversation, Amya guided Naeli to the garden. She showed her how to identify edible plants, how to care for the soil, and how to collect water safely from the stream without disturbing the natural balance. Naeli worked alongside Amya, her hands becoming familiar with the earth once more. She realized that these small tasks, though simple, were powerful. Each plant she tended, each drop of water she collected, was a step toward independence and self-reliance. As the day passed, Amya shared more than just survival skills. She spoke of the importance of observation and awareness, teaching Naeli how to notice subtle changes in the environment. The sound of birds that could indicate rain, the direction of the wind, and the tracks of animals that could signal food nearby. Naeli listened intently, absorbing every word. Each lesson felt like a piece of armor, preparing her for the challenges that lay ahead. By late afternoon, Naeli had regained some of her strength, though hunger and fatigue remained distant companions. Amya suggested they take a short walk beyond the grove to explore the nearby hills and streams. Naeli agreed, feeling both excitement and apprehension. The world beyond the safety of the dwelling was vast and unpredictable, but she knew she had to face it. The walk was long but enlightening. Naeli learned to climb over rocks without disturbing the soil, to step lightly near streams to avoid scaring away fish, and to recognize the different types of grasses and shrubs that could signal fresh water or food. She marveled at the way the light changed as they moved across the hills, casting shadows that shifted and danced with the wind. For the first time in weeks, she felt a sense of wonder, a reminder that life was not only about survival, it was about noticing beauty in even the smallest details. During a rest on a grassy slope, Amya spoke of the importance of inner strength. The body can endure hunger and fatigue, she said, but the mind must also be strong. Fear can cloud your judgment, anger can lead to mistakes, and despair can steal your will to continue. You must nurture your thoughts as carefully as you nurture your body. Nayeli thought about her journey so far, about the nights spent under the stars and the long days of walking, about the moments when she had felt close to giving up. She realized that Amya was right. Her greatest challenge was not just the harshness of the land, it was the fear and doubt that had tried to take root in her heart. She resolved to cultivate hope, courage, and clarity, even in the face of uncertainty. As evening approached, the two returned to the dwelling. Nayeli helped Amya prepare a small meal, and they ate together in companionable silence. The elder told stories of her youth, of the adventures and hardships she had faced, and of the lessons she had learned along the way. Nayeli listened, inspired by the wisdom and resilience of someone who had navigated life's difficulties with grace and determination. Before night fell, Nayeli sat outside, watching the stars appear one by one. She reflected on the events of the day, the lessons, the discoveries, and the small victories. She thought about the path ahead, aware that each day would bring new challenges and opportunities. Yet she no longer felt the same fear that had weighed so heavily on her during her journey. With Amya's guidance, she felt stronger, more capable, and more connected to the world around her. That night, as she lay under the blanket once more, Nayeli felt a deep sense of gratitude, not only for the food and shelter that had sustained her body, but for the guidance and kindness that had nourished her spirit. She understood that her journey was far from over, but she also realized that she had taken the first steps toward reclaiming her life. With each new day, she would learn, grow, and discover the strength within herself. And though the plains were wide and unpredictable, she no longer felt small or helpless. She was learning to become resilient, observant, and courageous, the qualities that would carry her through the trials to come. As sleep finally overtook her, Nayeli felt a quiet determination settling deep within her. She knew that tomorrow would bring challenges she could not yet foresee, but she also knew that she was not alone. She had found guidance, friendship, and hope, and that knowledge gave her the courage to face whatever lay ahead. The night was calm, and the stars shone brightly above, as if encouraging her onward. Nayeli closed her eyes, ready to face the next day with strength, curiosity, and an unyielding spirit. Morning broke gently over the grove, spilling golden light across the land. Nayeli woke with a renewed sense of purpose. The lessons of the previous day lingered in her mind, the importance of observation, patience, and inner strength. She rose carefully, her body still sore from the long journey, but her spirit stronger than ever. Today, she felt ready to explore more of the world beyond the small dwelling, eager to test her skills and see what lay further across the plains and hills. Amya was already awake, tending to the chickens and gathering water from the stream. She greeted Nayeli with a warm smile. "Good morning," she said. "Are you ready for today's lesson?" Nayeli nodded eagerly. "Yes, I am," she replied. She had been learning quickly, but she knew there was much more to understand. Life in the wilderness demanded more than simple survival skills. It demanded adaptability, foresight, and courage. Amya handed her a small bundle of dried fruits, nuts, and a piece of bread. "Eat first," she said. "Today we will go farther and you will need energy." Nayeli ate slowly, savoring each bite, mindful of the strength it provided. She listened as Amya explained the plan for the day. "We will walk along the ridge to the north," Amya said, pointing toward a line of distant hills. "You will learn how to observe the land from above, how to track animals, and how to anticipate weather changes. These are skills that will help you survive and thrive." They set out soon after breakfast, moving carefully through the grove and onto the open plains. Nayeli marveled at the scenery, the tall grasses swaying with the wind, the occasional wildflowers that dotted the landscape, and the distant hills that seemed both inviting and mysterious. She kept her eyes alert, noticing small details that might have escaped her attention before. The tracks of rabbits in the soil, the faint scent of water carried on the breeze, the distant calls of birds signaling movement or danger. As they walked, Amya taught Nayeli how to read the signs of the land. "Every detail tells a story," she explained. "The way the grass bends, the color of the clouds, the patterns of animal tracks, all of these are messages. If you learn to understand them, you will always know where to find water, food, and shelter." Nayeli listened intently, trying to absorb every word. She practiced following the tracks of small animals, moving quietly so as not to disturb the environment. She learned how to crouch low, blend with the shadows, and step carefully on soft soil. Her body grew stronger with each movement, and her mind became sharper, more aware of her surroundings. After several hours of walking, they reached the ridge. From this higher vantage point, Nayeli could see the vast expanse of the plain stretching out before her. Rivers glinted like silver threads, groves of trees appeared as dark green clusters, and distant mountains rose majestically against the sky. She felt a mix of awe and humility. The world was enormous, and yet she had survived this far. Amya guided her to a large rock, and they sat down to rest. "Look at the land carefully," Amya said. "Notice the signs of life. See the birds circling above. They indicate where food might be. Watch the movement of the clouds. They tell you where storms may come. Observe everything, and you will always be prepared." Nayeli studied the landscape, feeling a new sense of connection. She began to notice patterns, the way the sun reflected off the water, the subtle colors in the grass, the way animals moved in groups. Each observation added to her understanding, and she realized that survival was not just about strength, but about knowledge and attention. As the day progressed, they continued along the ridge, encountering small challenges that tested Nayeli's skills. She learned to climb rocky slopes without slipping, to find safe paths through dense shrubs, and to stay calm when unexpected sounds startled her. At one point, a gust of wind swept across the ridge, carrying the scent of smoke. Nayeli's heart raced, but Amya guided her calmly. "Breathe and observe," she said. "Do not fear what you cannot see clearly. Understand it first, then decide how to act." Following Amya's instructions, Nayeli noticed a small campsite in the distance. The smoke came from a fire that had long since burned down, and there were no people in sight. She realized that not every sign of danger was immediate. Sometimes, patience and careful observation revealed the truth. This lesson stayed with her, reinforcing the importance of thinking before acting and not letting fear dictate her decisions. By late afternoon, they found a quiet spot near a small stream to rest. Nayeli drank deeply from the clear water, feeling it refresh her body. Amya showed her how to check the water for safety, how to collect it in containers, and how to ensure it remained clean. These small skills, she explained, could mean the difference between life and illness. Nayeli felt a sense of pride as she practiced, knowing that she was becoming more capable and self-reliant. While resting, Amya spoke of the importance of resilience and perseverance. "Life will not always be easy," she said. "You will face hunger, fatigue, and loneliness. But if you remain patient, observe carefully, and adapt, you will survive. Strength is not just in your muscles, it is in your mind and your spirit." Nayeli thought about her journey so far. She remembered the nights under the stars, the hunger, the fear, and the moments of despair. She realized that each challenge had taught her something valuable, shaping her into someone stronger and more aware. She felt a quiet determination settle within her, a promise to herself that she would continue learning and growing, no matter what obstacles arose. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, they made their way back to the dwelling. The walk was slower, as their legs were tired from the long day, but Naomi felt a sense of accomplishment. She had learned to move carefully, observe the land, and adapt to new situations. Each step brought a deeper understanding of the world and her place within it. Back at the dwelling, Naomi helped Amya prepare a simple meal of vegetables, grains, and fresh herbs. As they ate together, the elder shared stories of her own youth, of challenges she had faced and overcome, and of the wisdom she had gained. Naomi listened, inspired by the resilience and knowledge that came from a life lived fully and attentively. After the meal, they sat outside, watching the stars emerge one by one. Naomi reflected on the day, feeling a mixture of pride, curiosity, and hope. She understood that the journey ahead would continue to test her, but she also knew that she was becoming stronger, more skilled, and more confident. With each new day, she would learn to navigate the land, understand its patterns, and grow in resilience and courage. As night fell, Naomi lay beneath the blanket, listening to the gentle sounds of the grove, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl, the soft murmur of the stream. She felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that she was no longer completely alone, and that she had begun to build the skills and inner strength necessary to survive and thrive. She closed her eyes, thinking about tomorrow, about the new lessons that awaited, and about the journey that lay ahead. Though the path was uncertain, Naomi felt ready. She had learned patience, observation, and courage. She had begun to understand the importance of knowledge, awareness, and inner strength. And she knew that with each passing day, she was becoming the person she needed to be, resilient, capable, and full of hope. As sleep overtook her, Naomi felt a quiet determination to face whatever challenges the next day might bring. The plains stretched endlessly around her, vast and unpredictable, but she no longer felt small or powerless. She had learned to read the land, to observe its signs, and to rely on her own strength and wisdom. And in that quiet night, under a sky full of stars, she felt a deep connection to the world and to the journey that was shaping her into someone strong, wise, and unafraid. The morning sun rose slowly over the grove, casting warm light across the land. Naomi woke feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Today, Amya had promised to teach her something new, how to navigate the wider world beyond the safety of the grove, to understand its dangers, and to discover opportunities hidden in the plains. Naomi knew that her journey of learning was far from over, and she felt eager to test herself in ways she had not yet experienced. After a light breakfast of bread, nuts, and dried fruit, Amya spoke to Naomi about the plan for the day. "We will move farther today," she said. "You will learn to use landmarks to guide yourself, to notice changes in the weather, and to make choices when faced with uncertainty. These are important lessons for someone who wishes to survive and thrive." Naomi nodded, her eyes bright with determination. She had learned many skills over the past days, but she understood that the world outside the grove was vast and unpredictable. Today would be a step toward true independence, and she felt both nervous and ready. They set off together, moving through the plains with care. Naomi noticed details she had overlooked before: the patterns in the grass, the small tracks left by animals during the night, and the subtle movement of clouds in the sky. Each observation helped her feel more connected to the land, as if she could sense its rhythm and anticipate its changes. Amya walked beside her, offering guidance and encouragement, but also allowing Naomi to make her own decisions along the way. After several hours of walking, they reached a wide, open area where the grass swayed high and thick. Naomi paused, unsure of the best path to take. Amya smiled gently. Use what you have learned, she said. Look for signs. Decide for yourself which way feels safest. Nayeli studied the ground carefully. She noticed a narrow trail where small animals had moved, and the grass appeared slightly flattened. She also saw the distant shimmer of water, reflecting sunlight through the haze. Carefully, she chose a path, moving quietly and deliberately. Each step felt like a test, but she remembered Amya's lessons about patience, observation, and confidence. Slowly, she advanced, feeling the satisfaction of making her own choice and seeing it work. Around midday, they came to a small grove of trees, providing much-needed shade. Nayeli rested, drinking water from the stream and eating a few pieces of fruit from her pack. Amya encouraged her to observe the area carefully. Notice everything, she said. Even small details can teach you about the world, where animals hide, where water gathers, and where the weather might shift. While resting, Nayeli began to notice the subtle signs of a storm approaching. The wind shifted direction, the clouds darkened slightly, and the birds flew higher, calling to each other in warning. Nayeli pointed these signs out to Amya, who nodded approvingly. "You are learning well," she said. Being aware of the environment is not just about survival, it is about understanding and respecting the world. As they continued their journey, the storm grew closer. The wind whipped through the trees, and the sky darkened with heavy clouds. Nayeli felt a twinge of fear, but she remembered the lessons she had learned about patience and calmness. Amya guided her to a sheltered area beneath a large rock overhang. "We wait here," Amya said. "There is no need to rush. Storms will pass, and those who remain calm will endure safely." Nayeli watched the rain begin to fall, first as gentle drops, then heavier, drumming on the rocks and the earth. She felt the cool water on her skin, the fresh scent of rain filling her senses, and a strange sense of peace despite the storm. She realized that the world could be harsh, but it could also be beautiful and cleansing. Each experience, no matter how challenging, carried lessons and opportunities for growth. When the storm finally passed, they continued on their way. The air was fresh, the soil damp, and the streams fuller. Nayeli felt invigorated, realizing that even obstacles could bring new chances and insights. She learned how to cross small streams safely, avoid slippery rocks, and notice the areas where water might hide dangers such as mud or sudden dips. Each challenge strengthened her confidence and expanded her understanding of the world. As afternoon approached, they reached the edge of a dense forest. The trees were tall and thick, their leaves creating deep shadows. Nayeli felt a mixture of awe and apprehension. The forest was unfamiliar and full of unknowns. Amya encouraged her to move slowly, listen carefully, and observe every sound. Nayeli realized that her senses were sharper than ever. She could hear the rustle of animals, the distant call of birds, and even the subtle movement of wind through the branches. Inside the forest, they encountered new lessons. Amya taught Nayeli how to identify edible plants among the foliage, how to move quietly without alarming animals, and how to recognize natural markers to prevent getting lost. Nayeli practiced diligently, using the skills she had learned in the plains and adapting them to the dense forest environment. She felt a growing sense of independence and competence. During a short rest, Nayeli and Amya sat near a small clearing. Amya spoke about courage and decision-making. "Life will present choices that are not easy," she said. "You may face hunger, uncertainty, or fear. The important thing is to remain calm, think carefully, and trust yourself. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is moving forward despite it." Nayeli thought about the journey she had taken so far, the hardships, the hunger, the long walks, and the moments of doubt. She realized that each step had taught her something valuable about resilience, patience, and the strength of the human spirit. She understood that courage was not just about facing physical danger, but also about confronting her own doubts and fears. As evening approached, they emerged from the forest into a small valley. The valley was quiet, with a clear stream running through it and soft grass covering the ground. Naomi felt a sense of relief and accomplishment. She had navigated unfamiliar terrain, faced challenges with patience and observation, and grown stronger in body and mind. They set up a small camp near the stream. Amya taught Naomi how to prepare a safe place for rest, how to build a small fire for warmth, and how to ensure their food and water were protected. Naomi practiced carefully, understanding that these skills were crucial for survival and independence. As night fell, they sat by the fire, sharing stories and reflecting on the day. Naomi realized that her journey was about more than survival. It was about learning, growth, and understanding the world in all its complexity. She felt gratitude for Amya's guidance and for the experiences that had challenged and strengthened her. Before sleep, Naomi looked up at the sky, the stars twinkling brightly above. She felt a deep connection to the land, the animals, and the lessons she had learned. She knew that the journey ahead would continue to test her, but she also knew that she was ready. She had patience, observation, courage, and resilience, the qualities that would guide her through future challenges. As she drifted off to sleep under the blanket, listening to the gentle sounds of the valley, Naomi felt a quiet confidence. She had faced storms, navigated difficult terrain, and learned valuable lessons about the world and herself. Tomorrow would bring new opportunities and challenges, but she was no longer the same girl who had wandered alone across the plains. She was stronger, wiser, and more capable, ready to continue her journey with courage and hope. The morning sun rose softly over the valley, spilling warm light across the grass and the small stream where Naomi and Amya had camped. Naomi awoke feeling a mixture of excitement and determination. She had learned so much over the past days, the skills to survive, the patience to observe, and the courage to face challenges. Today, she knew, would bring another opportunity to put everything she had learned into action. After a simple breakfast of bread, fruit, and nuts, Amya spoke to Naomi about the plan for the day. "Today, you will travel farther than before," she said. "You will use all the skills you have learned to navigate, find food and water, and understand the world around you. It will be a test of everything you have practiced." Naomi nodded, her heart beating with anticipation. She had been waiting for this moment, eager to see if she could truly rely on her own abilities. She packed her small bundle carefully, double-checking that she had enough water and food, and adjusted the blanket she would carry for rest. Each movement felt deliberate and purposeful, a reflection of her growing independence. They began walking along the edge of the valley, the soft grass cushioning their steps. Naomi's senses were sharper than ever. She noticed subtle movements in the trees, the patterns of clouds in the sky, and the faint sounds of animals in the distance. She remembered Amya's lessons about patience and observation, and she applied them carefully, stopping to study tracks in the soil, listening to the wind, and checking the flow of the stream for safe drinking water. By midday, they reached a small hill that overlooked a wide stretch of the plains. Naomi paused, taking a deep breath, and looked out over the land. Rivers glinted like silver threads, groves of trees appeared as dark green clusters, and distant mountains rose majestically against the horizon. She felt awe and pride. She had come a long way since the first day she had wandered alone, hungry and exhausted. Now she could see not just the land but also her own growth, the skills she had developed, and the courage that had carried her this far. Amya encouraged her to practice navigation using landmarks. "The world is full of signs," she said. "Mountains, trees, rivers, and even the shape of the clouds can guide you. Learn to trust your observations and you will never be truly lost." Naomi studied the land carefully. She identified patterns in the hills, the flow of the rivers, and the positions of trees. Using these markers, she mapped a safe path across the plains in her mind. Each choice was deliberate, a combination of knowledge, observation, and intuition. She felt proud of her ability to read the world, to understand its rhythms, and to make decisions with confidence. As they walked further, they encountered a dense area of shrubs and tall grasses. Naomi's training had taught her how to move carefully through such terrain without alarming animals or getting caught in thorny plants. She stepped lightly, crouched when necessary, and used her awareness to navigate safely. Amya watched silently, allowing Naomi to make decisions and encouraging her independence. Suddenly, Naomi noticed tracks in the soil, small, fresh tracks of an animal moving nearby. She paused, crouching low to observe. The tracks led toward a patch of berries she recognized as edible. Naomi felt a thrill of accomplishment. She had spotted a source of food on her own, relying on her observation skills and knowledge of the land. Carefully, she gathered some berries, mindful not to take more than needed, respecting the environment as Amya had taught her. After a short rest near the stream, they continued across the plains. The sun grew warmer, and Naomi felt the strain of the day, but she pressed on, determined to complete the journey. Along the way, Amya spoke of resilience, reminding Naomi that strength was not just physical but also mental and emotional. "There will be times when you feel tired, hungry, or afraid," Amya said. "These moments will test you, but they will also show you how strong you are. Trust yourself, and you will find the courage to continue." Naomi thought about all she had endured, the long walks, the hunger, the storms, the nights under the stars. She realized that each challenge had shaped her into a stronger, wiser person. She had learned patience, observation, and courage. She had learned to trust herself and to respect the world around her. As the afternoon wore on, they reached the edge of a forest, similar to the one they had explored before. Naomi felt a mixture of excitement and caution. She knew the forest could hide both dangers and opportunities. Using her skills, she carefully moved through the trees, noting the sounds of birds, the movement of small animals, and the patterns of the leaves above. She found edible plants, identified safe paths, and even spotted a small clearing where water collected from rainfall. Each observation reinforced her growing independence and confidence. In the clearing, Naomi and Amya rested for a while. Amya spoke of the importance of reflection. "Every day, take time to consider what you have learned," she said. "Think about the choices you made, the challenges you faced, and how you responded. This reflection will help you grow, not just as a survivor, but as a person." Naomi nodded, feeling the truth of Amya's words. She thought about the decisions she had made that day, the paths she had chosen, the food she had gathered, the techniques she had used to navigate the land. She realized that each choice had strengthened her skills and her confidence. She had become capable of surviving and thriving on her own, guided by knowledge, observation, and courage. As evening approached, they made their way back to the valley. The sky was painted in shades of gold and orange, reflecting on the stream and the grass. Naomi felt a deep sense of peace and accomplishment. She had faced new challenges, applied the skills she had learned, and grown in strength, knowledge, and confidence. Back at the dwelling, they prepared a simple meal together. Naomi helped gather herbs, wash vegetables, and start a small fire. As they ate, Amya shared stories of the world beyond the plains, the mountains, rivers, and distant villages. Naomi listened with curiosity, realizing that her journey was only the beginning of a much larger adventure. She felt inspired by the possibilities that lay ahead, knowing that she had the skills and courage to face whatever came next. Before sleep, Naomi sat by the stream, looking up at the stars. She reflected on her journey, the hardships, the lessons, the growth, and the moments of triumph. She realized that she was no longer the frightened, hungry girl who had wandered alone across the plains. She had become someone strong, resilient, and wise, capable of facing the world with courage and hope. As she lay beneath her blanket that night, listening to the gentle sounds of the valley, the rustle of leaves, the call of distant animals, and the flow of the stream, Nayeli felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had learned to survive, to observe, to trust herself, and to respect the world around her. She had discovered inner strength, resilience, and the importance of patience and courage. Her journey had transformed her. She knew that life would continue to present challenges, but she also knew that she was ready. She had the skills, the knowledge, and the spirit to navigate the world, to face uncertainty, and to grow from every experience. The plains, the forests, the streams, and the hills had taught her lessons that could never be taken away. As she drifted into sleep, Nayeli felt a quiet determination. Tomorrow and every day after, she would continue to explore, to learn, and to grow. She had survived, yes, but more importantly, she had discovered her own strength and resilience. She had become the person she needed to be, strong, wise, and unafraid. And with that knowledge, she knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would face them with courage, patience, and hope. The stars shone above, twinkling like distant lanterns in the night sky, and Nayeli slept peacefully, ready to embrace the journey of life that awaited her.